In this video project, I will be creating a video representation on the significance of Beethoven's life. Instead of talking about how talented and great Beethoven was, I will be focusing on the concerns or problems that his life brought up. Indeed, real people, earths, and periods in history are filled with contradictory and mess. Therefore, investigating the messy side of something is as important as investigating the things that are great. The topic of this video project is to investigate how Beethoven's deafness happened in his lifetime and the actual influence of the disability on him. Beethoven was a German composer and a pianist, a crucial figure in the transition between the classical and romantic eras in classical music. Beethoven remains one of the most recognized and influential of all composers. His personal compositions include 9 symphonies, 1 piano concerto, 1 violin concerto, and so on. Below is the Symphony No. 9 in D minor from Beethoven. Please listen and enjoy. His career as a composer is conventionally divided into early, middle, and late periods. The early period is typically seen to last until 1802, the middle period from 1802 to 1812, and the late period from 1812 to his death in 1827. Beethoven was born in Bonn, then the capital of the Electorate of Cologne and part of the Holy Roman Empire. He displayed his musical talents at an early age and was taught by his father, John van Beethoven, and composer Christian Kohlebnief. At the age of 21, he moved to Vienna, where he began studying composition with Joseph Haydn and gained a reputation as a virtuoso pianist. He lived in Vienna until his death. By the late 20s, his hearing began to deteriorate, and by the last decade of his life, he was almost completely deaf. In 1811, he gave up conducting and performing in public, but continued to compose. Many of his most admired work come from these last 15 years of life, commonly known as his late period. Beethoven was reported to have dated his hearing loss from a fit he suffered in 1798 at a rage at the interruption of his work. His hearing only got partially recovered during his life, accompanied with a severe form of deafness. In the Heiligenstadt Casimir addressed to his 2 brothers, Beethoven described how the deafness symptoms and difficulties influenced him on his career. When Beethoven died, this letter was found written 25 years earlier, at the most critical moment of the composer's life, when he had to face the fact that his deafness was progressive and probably incurable. But what a mortification if someone stood beside me and heard the flute from afar and I had nothing, or someone heard a shepherd singing and I heard nothing. Such happiness brought me close to despair. Beethoven also admitted that he was not far away from ending his own life and only music helped her back. It seemed impossible that I should leave the world before I had produced all that I feel might. The cause of his deafness is still unknown, but the origin has variously been attributed to typhus, autoimmune disorders, and even the habit of immersing his head in cold water to stay awake. The explanation for Beethoven's autopsy was that Beethoven has distended inner ear, which developed during a long period of time. Modern DNA also found health issues, including large amounts of lead in his body. At that period of time, people are off of lead plates, and they just don't know about its harm. In addition, Beethoven's favorite drink beside coffee is wine. Back in 18th centuries, the oenology method wasn't that perfect. Therefore, the procedure process includes large amount of metal impurities. As time goes by, metal impurities accumulated in his body, causing tremendous harm to his ears and lungs. When Beethoven's Ninth Symphony was firstly performed in public, Beethoven had to be turned around to see applauses from the audiences, as he could neither hear it nor the orchestra. Although Beethoven's hearing loss did not prevent him from composing music, it made playing at concerts, which was an essential part of income, considerably difficult. In 1811, Beethoven already had a failed attempt of performing his own Piano Concerto No. 5. He never performed in public again until Beethoven directed the premiere performance of the Ninth Symphony in 1824. Nowadays, a huge collection of Beethoven's hearing aids such as ear horn can be viewed at the Beethoven Museum located in Germany. According to scholars, Beethoven could still hear speech and music as usual until 1812. After 2 years, Beethoven almost went completely deaf by the age of 44 in 1814. Once his hearing went completely deaf, Beethoven only allowed several friends to visit him, and he communicated with others through written words in notebooks. Therefore, his deafness forced him to become an extremely private and insular composer. However, how exactly did Beethoven write music without hearing? Music is a language with rules. Knowing the rules of what kind of music to be made, Beethoven could just sit there in front of the desk composed without others hearing it. In addition, with loss of hearing, Beethoven's music style changed completely. With the help of his abundant inner hearing experiences and absolute sound sensation, he started using darkened tone in his own piano and felt the existence of music deep in his heart. His famous Sixth Symphony also reflected his different life in deafness. Also known as the Pastoral Symphony, the musical work conveys the peace of the countryside, where Beethoven escaped city life after losing his hearing. Below is a play of the music, please. Please listen and enjoy. In terms of his deafness, this was a very important symphony, reflecting the importance as an individual to keep his sanity while being in the country. Although Beethoven's life was troubled by his gradual loss of hearing and long-term abdominal pain since he was 20, he had a group of close friends who were attracted by his unique personality strengths, helping him overcome lots of difficulties in life. In addition, Beethoven was never afraid of authorities. He always stopped performing once audiences chatted too long or they paid few attention to the concert. Though Beethoven's deafness is both gloomy and tragic, he is rather imperfect without his deafness, and his deafness is exactly what further shaped him. Beethoven is definitely a great composer, formed by both Romanticism and Classicism, worthy of remembering as all his compositions reflected Beethoven's incredible abilities. He was a master of the music language, which is all about the creation of sound instead of about the art of listening. Thanks for watching. My name is Tao, and my section number is 803. Thank you.